Some things never change. War is a state of large-scale armed conflict between organized groups, such as states, nations, or factions within a state. It is generally characterized by widespread violence, destruction, and mortality, often involving regular or irregular military forces. Here are some key aspects of the definition of war. Organized conflict. War is not random violence, but involves organized groups with some form of command structure and sustained military operations. Armed hostility. The core of war involves the use of weapons and armed forces in a hostile manner. Scale and duration. Wars typically involve conflicts of considerable duration and magnitude, distinguishing them from smaller skirmishes or isolated incidents. Political objectives. War is often seen as a continuation of policy by other means, aimed at achieving political, territorial, economic, religious, or ideological goals. The definition of war can also extend metaphorically to describe intense struggles or competitions in non-military contexts, such as a, quote, price war or a war on cancer. However, the primary definition relates to armed conflict. War is the price of peace. For all pleasure there must be pain, and at the end of the season, all accounts will come to a balance. Peace is generally defined as a state of harmony, tranquility, and the absence of hostility and violence. It can refer to a lack of conflict on various levels, from interpersonal relationships to international affairs, but of different aspects of peace. Absence of war or large-scale violence. This is often referred to as negative peace. It signifies a cessation of armed conflict between groups or nations. However, the absence of war doesn't necessarily mean a truly peaceful society, as underlying tensions and injustices might still exist. Freedom from disturbance or disorder. Peace can also describe the state of public order and security within a community or nation, free from civil unrest or significant disruptions. Inner tranquility. On an individual level, peace can refer to a state of mental and emotional calm, free from anxiety, worry, or inner conflict. Harmony in relationships. Peace can exist between individuals, groups, or nations when there is mutual respect, understanding, and lack of animosity or conflict. Presence of justice and well-being. This is often called positive peace. It goes beyond the absence of violence to include the presence of social justice, equality, and the conditions necessary for human flourishing. This encompasses factors like economic development, strong institutions, and respect for human rights. Therefore, while the simplest definition of peace might be the opposite of war, a more comprehensive understanding includes both the absence of conflict and the presence of conditions that foster harmonious and just relationships at all levels. War never changes. That phrase carries a heavy weight, doesn't it? It suggests a fundamental and perhaps tragic truth about the enduring nature of conflict. Despite all the advancements and supposed lessons learned throughout history, it implies that the core drivers, the suffering, and the ultimate outcomes, in some essential way, remain the same. The only real enemy is an internal and eternal one. The battle is between living in love or living in fear. Because come Judgment Day, there's no in between. And the only thing that's for sure at the end of the day, war never changes.